208 or 17% of those of you here who are graduating came to us with some collegiate work already. You transferred in credits. Of that, 78 of you already had an associate, a bachelor's, or a master's degree before coming to Clover Park. Among you is a student who started work at Clover Park in the summer of 1993. Been enrolled on and off at the college for 19 years. Congratulations to whoever you are. 44 of you actually started your experience in higher education in the 1990s. Wonderful persistence to stick it out. Our students come from all over the world, mostly from Pierce County, mostly from your hometown in Washington, but we have representatives here in this graduating class from South Korea, the People's Republic of China, Japan, Thailand, Moldavia, and the list goes on and on. We serve everybody who comes to our doors, everybody that needs an education, where the only barrier that we put before them, we expect, is going to be the academic performance they have to demonstrate. 41 of you, by the most recent count, started here without the ability to speak English. You progressed from ESL to learn the language of your classes that followed. It's a tremendous number and also speaks to the quality of the faculty who are teaching that program, as well as your hard work to master the language that many of your student colleagues take for granted. Marching with you tonight are a number of students who've had challenging journeys, one of which is Clara Meyer. Clara came... Go ahead, Clara, raise. To be recognized. Clara came to us at 40 years old and was scared. She felt like she had to work harder to keep up with her younger class mates. She was introduced to the world of computing, and she gained self-confidence to finish this program. Regardless of illnesses and the great support of a loving family that she mentioned frequently in her letter, she became the first in her family to receive a college diploma and the second of 23 grandchildren to graduate. And she did so with honors. I also want to mention Mary Jane Lustig Conley. Just wave. Thank you. Mary Jane had a similar story. Raised a family, worked hard, with personal issues, found herself alone. And as she tells me, that needless to say, this is the case for many, many, many of you here in the audience, that she decided she had to take control of her life. She said, and I haven't looked back ever since I came here. With the strength and the support of a number of faculty members and hard work, she came to love the institution, became a leader in Phi Theta Kappa, became a student leader, somebody to be a representative of many, many working adults who decide to return to college. And the one thing that she reminded me of as she talked about the college, she said, we're a place that recognizes the strength of accomplishment and achievements in people. And as an individual, we look past people's unguarded weaknesses. So thanks so much, Mary Jane. I also want to introduce you to Craig Alexander. He will stand, won't he, sir? Oh, yeah. Craig and I have gotten to know one another of late because he has better ties than I do. Craig was a sergeant in the United States Army and served in Iraq. In 2002, In 2006, he was medevaced out of Iraq because of injuries sustained to his lower body and eyes. He spent 2.5 years in rehabilitation at Madigan Army Hospital here in Lakewood. After his discharge, after the rehab, He found his way to Clover Park Technical College through the VA's Vocational Rehab Center. And when he found his way out of rehab, he had no home, no car, but he did find his way to Clover Park Technical College. He's experienced extraordinary hardships over the past couple of years, but has risen to the place he is today. Coming to college without transportation. I don't know if you've seen Craig at the bus stop many a day, or seen him struggling to walk along Steilacoom Boulevard. He's an inspiration to all of us. Regardless, he came to school with a smile on his face. He's a constant volunteer. He works hard to serve other students. He's been a peer mentor to his students, his younger students that he's gotten to know. He's been a leader in Phi Theta Kappa, the college's honor society. Thanks very much, Craig. At this time, I would like to ask all of our students who are veterans, everyone in the audience who has served in our military, as well as our faculty, to please stand and be recognized by everybody here. It's a great number. During your time here, many of you have demonstrated a keen sense of civic responsibility through community service projects for the elderly, for children, for troubled youth and families. Thanks so much for your contributions. I know some of you do it as part of your instructional program, some of you do it as service projects, but no doubt you've accepted your civic responsibility, your duty to be a strong member of the community. And I think you're going to hear a few remarks about that in a minute from our featured speaker. Clearly, the majority of you have worked part-time or full-time during your education. Your talents have been diverse. The hours you've worked, the classes have been long and hard. But with all of that, 231 people have graduated with a 4.0 or straight A average. "42 of you have been accepted to Phi Theta Kappa, which is the International Honor Society of two-year colleges. It is international. It represents tens of thousands of students across the country that have demonstrated academic excellence. Those students are to be recognized by a gold, stole, and blue cords. With the Phi Theta Kappa graduates, please stand and be recognized. Thank you. And perhaps one of the statistics that is most startling to us is that at the very least, and this is the number that we can identify, but at the very least, 173 students graduating in this class were single parents for some or all of their experience. And I want to say special congratulations to you, and no doubt your families have paid a tremendous price in supporting you as well. So thanks so much for being here tonight. And with that, I'd like to ask all the graduates here from the graduating class of spring 2012 to please stand and be recognized. Very good, thank you. Every so often, I'm reminded of the value of this place. There is something about the power of place. And for those of you that have ventured through the doors, I want to remind you of something that I was given as a reminder some time ago, and it goes something like this. Every so often, the right thing happens to the right person for the right reason. And with that in mind, I want to say thank you for coming through the doors. You may very well have a wonderful future ahead of you because of that. Thank you. At this time, I want to once again introduce you to a very special group of people associated with the college, and that's our teaching faculty. While new to most of our visitors, but not to our students, the teaching faculty members work tirelessly to assist our students to achieve their academic and personal goals. At this time, I'd ask each of the faculty members, everyone who has taught at the college or has supported the instructional program, to please stand and receive the adulation of everybody present. That's a good thing, whatever that was. I also want to take a minute and introduce the graduating class in particular to an important group of people whose hard work has contributed to why you're here today. I would like to ask the division deans, the program directors, the student services and physical plant administrators, and all the staff who work at Clover Park Technical College, many of which were here at 6 to 6:30 this morning to help set up for this event. Please stand and be recognized as well. I know you didn't do this alone. You know you didn't do it alone. So at this time, I would like to ask you to stand and turn around and recognize the loved ones who are seated in the audience who have supported you in this task. Okay. Once I get them started, it's hard to stop it. Okay, thank you. Each year I have the pleasure of introducing to you and inviting to speak a commencement speaker. At this time, it is my great pleasure and honor to introduce our featured speaker, Ms. Julie Anderson, the Pierce County Auditor, who will offer our commencement address. Ms. Anderson currently serves the community of Pierce County as the Pierce County Auditor and has so for 3.5 years. The Auditor's Office is responsible for elections. She's going to be really busy this year. Public document recording, vehicle licensing, business licensing, and animal control. Prior to her election as Pierce County Auditor, Julie was a senior policy advisor to the Washington State Department of Commerce as a member and also a member of the Tacoma City Council from 2004 to 2009. Her past professional service comes from a variety of fields, including political strategist for the Planned Parenthood Vote West, the executive director of the YWCA of Pierce County, the district manager for the Dome District Neighborhood Business District, campaign manager for the Tacoma United for Fairness, and a variety of criminal justice positions. Julie is a member of the Washington State Bar Association's Character and Fitness Board, the Washington State Criminal Justice Training Commission, as well as a senior fellow and board member for the American Leadership Forum, the ALF. She is a member of Rotary, the League of Women's Voters, the Women's Political Caucus, and the past president of the City Club of Tacoma. Makes you wonder how she has enough time to come here, but I am so grateful that she's come to join us. Julie holds a bachelor's degree from Evergreen State College and a master's science degree from criminal justice from Northeastern University in Boston. Please join me in honoring and welcome Ms. Julie Anderson to the podium.
Thank you, President Wallstrom. You almost make my life sound exciting. It's an honor to be here with you. Whether you came to Clover Park to finish high school, earn an associate's degree, or earn a certificate, you have worked hard and you did it. Regardless of what brought you to this ceremony today, it really is a pleasure to be in your presence, because I love being around people who have vision and people who have the ability to finish what they start. So, I'm no fool. I am here to recruit you and to talk to you about a contract. And now that I have your attention, this commencement speech is about that contract, and it's a contract that you're already engaged in. It's called citizenship, and today I want you to reconsider renewing that contract. There are two ways to look at this. You can look at it like a legal contract, or you can look at it like a contract with your community. So let's start with the legal contract. If I was your attorney representing you, advising you on whether to enter into this contract or not, I'd say, hey, it's a pretty good deal. The contract terms are pretty loose, and the benefits are great. There are only 4 legally enforceable components to this contract: pay taxes, serve on a jury, obey law, and conscription. And don't worry about that draft thing. That went away in 1973. So it's a pretty good contract for you. I'd advise you to take it. But the way I like to look at this contract, and I hope you will too, is as a contract with your community. And for that, as your advisor, I would look to the oath that we take. Whether you're a naturalized citizen or you were born with this privilege, we take an oath, some of us daily, and at special events. And that oath says that when you're a citizen, you owe an allegiance to the state and in turn are entitled to its protection. Our oath says that we owe an allegiance to each other, the state to the citizen and the citizen to the state. And it's an interdependent relationship. And to argue with the legal contract, we don't have minimal responsibilities, we have awesome responsibilities. I'll say more about that in a moment. So I'm here to recruit you and to talk to you about renewing this contract because we're in trouble. America is declining. We're sinking into individualism. We would rather take a trip to the shopping mall to avoid the rigors of the public square. We look increasingly to our rights and less to our responsibilities. What part of the contract are we looking at? The protections and the benefits, and not what we owe. The majority of Americans decline jury duty whenever they can. Fewer and fewer people are running for public office. We have unopposed candidates, permanent candidates, and very few candidates. Volunteerism is also on the decline. Some people may argue that that's because of the recession and the economic climate. People are working too hard and don't have time. I've heard other people argue that it's because churches are becoming smaller and we are becoming unchurched. I don't know what the answer is, but I do know this. The share of Americans volunteering time is the lowest it's been since the Department of Labor began tracking that number. Fraternal and civic organizations, maybe organizations that your parents belonged to, are struggling to reinvent themselves and to retain membership. And less than 33% of Americans vote regularly. Less than 33% of eligible Americans vote regularly. And Pierce County is no exception. I can tell you that because I count the ballots. We're in the bottom of the bucket in Washington State, and we've got to do something about that. Aristotle famously said, to take no part in the running of the community's affairs is to be neither a god nor a beast. Too many good people are doing nothing, and too many citizens want the protections of their community, that valuable benefit part of the contract, but forget that they owe something in return. And what we owe is more than taxes, obeying the law, and answering a jury summons. And I'm counting on you to share that opinion. I'm counting on you to have a broader view of citizenship and to help set the example. We, everybody in the bleachers, everybody receiving a degree today, need to fulfill our allegiance and pay what we owe by being engaged citizens, and we do more than pay taxes. Adlai Stevenson said, "Patriotism is not a short, frenzied outburst of emotion, like in a presidential election year, but rather a tranquil and steady dedication of a lifetime." We need a civil society and an engaged citizenry, and each and every one of us can be a role model. By the virtue of the fact that you're here today and what you've accomplished, you have the vision and the ability to finish what you start, so you are ripe for the job, and I'm calling on you to do it. If you thought you were here to shake President Wallstrom's hand and have a graduation photo, you are mistaken. We're here to do that, but we're also here to renew our allegiance to the community and to be those role models. And I know it's hard. It's really hard. I can see you squirming in your seats. And that exit door should only be used in the case of an emergency, not right now. Engaged citizenship is a full-time occupation, and you've just accomplished a major goal. It's hard to think about your next one. We're busy and worn out. You heard the president say that 230 of the graduates in this class work full-time or part-time, that 173 of the graduates are single